Welcome back to another episode of Be Wyoming. I'm your host, Aaron Gray, and on today's episode, our special guest is Natalie Steger of the Great Social Club, which is a unique PR and management company for talent, brands, and models based right here in Sheridan. Natalie has a wonderful story on how she got to Wyoming and her experience on building a business. You will not want to miss this interview. Natalie is full of energy, passion, and work ethic. She's bringing life to northeastern Wyoming through her role as a mom, a member of the Wild Rodeo Royalty Board, and much more. Here's our interview with Natalie Steger. And welcome in, everyone, to another interview of Be Wyoming. Sorry, I messed that up, but another episode of Be Wyoming. Our special guest today is Natalie Steger of the Great Social Club. Natalie, thanks for coming by this morning.
Hey. Welcome. Good to be back.
She just finished all her coffee there, so she's gonna be all hyped up. And then we were talking about some other stuff, and you're like, you're all revved up, so we're ready to go. But if you guys don't know Natalie, so her and her husband Joe moved out here in 2013, and the Great Social Club is a was it right? 2011. You started Great Social Club in 2013.
No. I started 2013. I started my business, my makeup business.
That's right,
makeup
NTS.
Business. Yeah.
Okay. Moved out here in 2011. Sorry.
Yeah.
And we'll get into all that stuff, but she is the creator and owner of Great Social Club, and Great Social Club is a kind of a management curative for artists and creatives. I mean, you range from writers, everybody.
Everybody. We house all the unique, creative, one of a kind people. You know, they got something to share, and it's a PR and talent management. So we kind of combine the both. Is kind of what I do now. It just organically became that way because it made sense.
Right.
But we also do PR for, brands and indie companies and things. I like to keep it small and tight. So.
Yep. And that's based here in Sheridan. So that's, I think that it's wonderful that it's here in Wyoming, and then you're, all over the world. So, but yeah, let's kind of start from the beginning, kind of talk a little bit about, growing up. You're a Vietnamese American, grew up outside DC, right?
Yep.
And your parents, now I'm trying to remember, your parents immigrated here, correct? Or was it grandparents? Yeah.
So my parents immigrated here separately. They met in Northern Virginia.
Yep.
And then they had me, and then I actually was born in Texas. And so I guess so they met here, and my dad basically every day asked my mom if she wanted a ride she was at the bus stop until she finally said, yeah. I think it was raining. And then, I don't know, 6 months later, I don't know, they got married.
Right.
Something months later, they're pregnant. My mom has me in Texas. And it's hard, her whole family's, the majority, my grandparents and her siblings are all in Northern Virginia. So when they left to move to try to find opportunity in Houston,
right,
it was hard for my mom. And back then, we all lived in everyone lived in one apartment with 20 people deep.
Right.
The immigrant experience, you know. So anyway, so my mom had me, and I think she legit had postpartum or something going on.
Oh, okay.
And she just was really homesick on top of just, I'm sure, natural things too. But I just still don't quite understand. I don't know if I had jaundice or I was just my mom ate a lot of turmeric and I was stained yellow.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure.
Could be both.
It could have been both, or it could have been jaundice. But I ended up staying in the hospital a little bit longer. And so she couldn't hold me and stuff, So she said she'd wash my clothes and hang it and just wait to time to go visit me at the hospital. And I guess finally when I got out, I think she was just so homesick. She borrowed $100 or asked the old lady next door for $100, wrote my dad a note saying, hey, if you love me, we're going to Virginia. XOXO, and just headed out and, reunited with her parents. And then my dad came. I think he finished up work and saved some money and then came 6 months later.
Cool.
So.
And then that's where you grew up.
Yeah,
then in Virginia.
I grew up.
Yep.
I was like 2 months old by the time. Like I didn't make it. I couldn't cut it in H-Town.
Just couldn't make it work.
No.
Yeah, and then so both your mom and dad's family were there.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about what you would do for work, because I think they owned a salon, right?
Yeah, so my mom owned a salon. So we had one of the first Vietnamese restaurants and one of the first Vietnamese nightclubs too. So when my parents are divorced now, but when they were married, they opened up Viet Flower in Springfield, Virginia, and it was one of the first time we had actually like all the Vietnamese like famous celebrity singers.
Okay.
Come through there, and so it became from a nightclub, and these were little when this started, and we'd sleep on the chairs, while they work and stuff like that, and then it kind of developed into karaoke and restaurant thing. And my sister and I grew up like working karaoke nights, and so we would get like paid to sing Chinese love melodies or songs on the thing. And like, I mean, it was, and we served, food and booze, and we were underage, but it was a family restaurant.
Yeah.
So it was a different time then, guys.
Yes.
Yeah, so we just kind of grew up doing that. And then my mom ended up opening up, well, she had a salon, several salons actually. And by the time I turned, it was like 16, 17, she opened up a spa skincare shop.
Okay.
And then by the time I turned 18, she had me go get my esthetician license. And then kind of from there, it just like, I just took on the skill. I was like really good at skincare and had a really natural knack for makeup. Mm-hmm. And I kind of took all our clients, and she kind of just ran the shop. And I'm not a good saleswoman anyway. Like I'm not, like I don't know how to like I know how to sell someone something if they need it, because they need it, right? But like if you don't really need it, I'd be like, do you really need this? Like it's kind of expensive. Be like, so. Or I'd be like, you can get the same thing at CVS over here, So I wasn't the best saleswoman, but I was a bomb esthetician and makeup artist. So I took those skill sets, came out here, and I had like amazing friends who are really well-known celebrity makeup artists and just in that beauty world. And when I moved out here, 2011, but by 2013, when Joe got laid off from... We came out here like on a wish, like a hope that things are gonna pan out somehow in a way. I mean, granted, we did a little planning.
Yeah.
Joe ended up working in the oil field, which was awesome because it helped us buy our first house and all that stuff. He did with Sanjo doing concrete stuff. I forgot exactly what it was called. You should know. The concrete portion of.
The construction side?
No, for oil and gas.
Plugging?
I don't know. They drilled the...
They drill the well.
I think the well, and then they poured the concrete.
Yep,
and
casing.
Casing, that's it.
Sorry. I was like, where's she going?
Dude, you know it. Well, it was so long ago, like I can't even remember all that stuff anymore, but it was a very important process of making sure the integrity of the well and everything is.
Yes.
So it was like one of the most important parts of it.
Yep.
So anyway, on to another note. No, he did that. We got helped us get our first house and things like that. And then he got laid off. And so we like take the severance package or go to Denver or Colorado or something. And by then he was moved up to like a management, I don't know, forgot what, like a higher position. And and I was like, dude, I can't do that. Mm-hmm. Like either we stay here or we go back to DC. And he was like, I want to stay here. I'm like, okay, do real estate, and I'll do makeup, and we'll just
make it work.
Make it work, yeah. And I ended up doing really good. I met Shelly Kinnison. She kind of set me up with Ashley Rogers to kind of get clientele. Mm-hmm. I literally had a Facebook page. I think that's about all I had. I don't even think I had Instagram yet. A Facebook page, word of mouth, and I was booked almost every weekend that summer of 2013.
Wow.
And my friends helped me put together my kit and get me all the stuff I needed and really just helped me build out my kit. And
and that was your NTS brand.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. and the rest was history. And it did really good. And then towards the last 2 years after I had my kids, I started just passing on my craft and my knowledge to other people. And there and the other girls being makeup artists and skincare, and like I literally I had retail, and I was like, dude, just take it.
Yeah.
I was like, just take it. So it's good. I'm happy. I think there's room for everything, and so that's how he led me to Great Social Club now.
Yeah.
I'm sharing everything. I don't keep.
No secrets.
Yeah, there's no secrets. Like, I don't have a secret. Like, if it's my recipe, I have no problem telling you my recipe, because at the end of the day, it's either people like you or they don't like you, right? Or they want to work with you, or they don't want to work with you.
Right.
So that's kind of where I'm at.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because we didn't talk about this the first time, so I didn't know there was an option that Joe was offered, come to Denver for his job.
Yeah.
What made you guys say, Sheridan's better than just moving to Denver? Because that's a big risk, because that's him keeping a job, a well-paying job.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, it's that, it's here or go back home to DC. So yeah, what made you guys stay here over
faith? I mean, I like, now that you say that, I don't know. It's like either we stay here because I think we've already created a life here in a way.
Right.
And, we put some roots in, and I didn't want to go start over again.
Right.
I have a hard time, truthfully, making friends. Like, I'm a friendly person, but I have a hard time.
Close friends.
Making close friends. So I was like, if we do this, I just want to go home. Mm-hmm. I just want to go home. I just want to be with my family if we're going to do that.
Right.
I don't want to move to another place. And I like it here. Sheridan has this energy. Either you belong here or you don't belong here. You know what I mean? Like, if you come up here and you're not feeling it, you kind of know. And it's not even the people, and it's just the energy. And we really, people have been good to us. I can't even put into words. For example, just a story about meeting Shelly. I met Shelly buying my vanity mirror for my at-home makeup studio. She's doing her real estate rehab stuff.
Yep.
And it's just from there, right? It's just that progressed. And same thing with Joe. It was actually our realtor who helped us buy our first house, left Sheridan, came back to Sheridan, and she referred Joe to work at Century 21.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, because we was well, we're thinking about doing real estate, and she's the one that told Joe, hey, why don't, come on over here. I'm going to go over here. And we liked her. She's, helped us buy our first house and stuff. And so Joe's okay. And just that's the thing, everything just works out. I think you just got to have faith, and you just got to follow, live your truth of what you want to do. And I really wanted to support my husband because I really believed in him.
Right.
And I felt like I have this talent and the skill. And I said, well, maybe Sheridan's ready, because I was I don't know, it's a little cowboys and ranches. I don't know if people are into being, makeup and all that stuff. But, there's weddings.
Yep.
Right. And, by the time I finished off, I legit had a luxury makeup business, high-end makeup. People were spending money on stuff. And it was kind of cool to see. And granted, some of the people are kids that are gone and they only come back for the summer or whatever like that. But it's still pretty cool. So I feel like there's so much opportunity still to be had. But yeah, Sheridan's just good. Either you belong here or you don't belong here.
I love that.
And it's the energy.
Yeah.
So
I think Charlie would probably agree to that, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And after having not lived here for 16 years after leaving and then coming back 3 years ago, yeah.
Yeah,
I still want
to.
It's a nice place to leave and a nice place to come back to.
Yep.
I still want to get out of here.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Well, now we got United. Or was it not United? What is it? The airline?
Yeah, it's United.
United. Yeah, United.
It's United. Yeah.
SkyWest.
Yeah. You got the airports and that's cool. No, that's awesome, because we didn't talk about that.
No,
the
I guess we didn't. Yeah.
No, that's cool. I do want to. I think because this story is really cool. So, and we do need to touch on like the nightclub stuff, and you got some cool stories there. But talk about the story of so Joe. You know, Joe's from Belfouche.
Yeah.
So like he'd come out here and hunt and all that stuff. But talk about the whole like, hey, come with me out here. We're gonna like road trip through Wyoming.
Oh yeah. So okay. So I don't know if I told you guys how he decided that he wanted to live out here, right?
I don't think we talked about that.
So he was going out hunting with his dad and his brothers, and they were waiting for this guy who's notoriously always late.
Okay.
And I guess a big snowstorm hit, and they got trapped at like, I don't know, some bar in middle of nowhere, Wyoming, that called like Bear Bar, you know, or something like Bear Lodge. And Joe would probably remember the details much better than I do because I'm not always great at remembering that kind of stuff. But essentially, they were stuck.
Right.
And the lady and her daughter next door, like, hey, man, do you want to... You can stay at our apartment or our condo or whatever, and just leave the keys in the mailbox. We're going to go over to my boyfriend's place anyways, so you can go ahead and stay there. And Joe's like, are you sure? We're like, they don't know each other.
Right.
Like, no, there's a snowstorm. You guys are stuck. Just, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe was just kind of like, these are kind of people I need to be with.
Right.
You know, and that's like a burnout from just being in the city and the nightclub scene and service industry, you know, and all that stuff. And so then he comes back and he's like, hey, Natalie, you know, what do you think about moving out west? I'm like, oh yeah, I'd love to move with like San Francisco, California, what? Like, you know, all the Asian food I could ever have, right? And he's like, no, I mean like Colorado, South Dakota, Montana, Wyoming. And I'm like, oh, like, I don't even know. Like, are those real states, you know? No. And then we flew out into Grand Junction. His dad worked for, seismic and different kind of advice stuff for when people do federal land, because he used to work for BLM, so he was a really good contractor and advising companies, just kind of like where you can drill or where you can ride machines over here, and so it was really good having him do that. So he had his 4Runner there. We went in Grand Junction, flew into Grand Junction, went on the 4Runner. See, I'm like thinking 4-wheeler. 4Runner, the Toyota, and then we kind of just drove all over the place. Like, and I really freaking liked Wyoming. And I actually, like, it was like here, Buffalo, and Cody.
Yeah.
And we didn't choose Buffalo because, like, I was like, well, Joe, it's like Little House on the Prairie. Like, don't you think we should go, like, really legit? You know, like, have nothing? And he's like, no, dude, you're going to die. You're like, you need something. He's
like, you need a little bigger.
Yeah, you need a little something. And I really liked Cody, but it's super windy. No offense to you, Cody. We love Cody, but Joe's like, it's really windy, and I can barely handle the cold. And he's like, Sheridan's the perfect place. It's sheltered by the Bighorn Mountains.
Yep.
It has several bigger grocery stores. At that time, we still had Safeway.
Yep.
And so I was like, okay. And so basically, I was like, all right. Like, he made the decision. I didn't even make the final decision. Like, he kind of I narrowed it down to Wyoming. And I got car sick. The whole trip. I'm like below sea level person. And so when we were driving through, I was like crying and I was like so tired. And like Joe's like, did you see that beautiful, view? I'm like, what view, dude? I'm like freaking sleeping and like not feeling good. I like cried over a chicken sandwich because they forgot to put, I don't know what they did, like forgot to put lettuce or mayonnaise. And he's like, what is wrong with you? And I realized it was the elevation.
Right.
Because even moving here, it took me I slept for like 2 months.
Right.
I was like so tired all the time. I tend to cry over food. So I like cried like not eating Vietnamese food. And it was like,
that's a normal thing. I feel like it's a normal thing.
So yeah, but then it got better after that. And then, yeah, so then here I am now.
That's awesome.
I'm a legit Wyoming chick.
Yep. Yeah, you've been here. That's, from 2011. That's 10 years. You've been here.
Yeah. So.
But no, I just love hearing that story because it's just he is from out here kind of, but
from Bellevue. She stayed in Bellevue till like his 16s. His best friends are there.
Yeah,
like that's his friend, like his set core of friends who are probably going to be his friends for life are from Bell. Or now, they're now most of them are Spearfish, but they're originally all from Bell.
Yeah.
And so
Black Hills area. Yeah.
So I always wanted to be with a cowboy. Little did I know I'd find an urban cowboy.
Is what it is, right? That's funny. Well, talk a little bit about, so you guys came out here in 2011. He was working in the oil field, becomes a realtor, and then you go with NTS and makeup.
Yeah.
Kind of transition out of that, and then kind of everything you've been working up to, led you to this idea of what about, PR, working with creatives, and kind of walk us through the idea of Great Social Club. Yeah.
That's a crazy one. So I was about done with makeup. Like I was just not done with makeup, just kind of done working because I had 2 kids. I really wanted honestly, I was planning on being a stay-at-home mom and just kind of supporting Joe and his career and helping him where I can. And then I had a friend, like not a good friend, but someone I kind of knew from LA. And her and I had talked for a while, like just kind of like social media friends. And she was always curious about Wyoming. And so one day she just shows up like, hey, dude, I'm here in Wyoming. And she's a pretty, she's pretty established, I guess, in the Instagram platform.
Social media.
She had like several 100K followers and a check mark or whatever.
Yep.
And she came out here, and I think for a fresh start, maybe,
sure.
I don't know. And so then we kind of clicked, and, she's Vietnamese, I'm Vietnamese. So we kind of clicked and we became, kind of friends. And from, this is like almost a year ago, over a year ago, because it was January.
Yeah.
So, So then from there, it was supposed to be a social media management company.
Okay.
Originally,
Yep.
It was kind of like, she was like, well, trying to figure out some work for her. I'm like, well, do you know social media? Like, maybe we can do this. And then, I don't know. I think like the pandemic hit. I mean, just a number of things, right? 2020 happened.
Yeah.
And somewhere between that time and like that short amount of time, she asked me to manage her, like help her, like,
her brand,
and pick her up again and kind of like, I don't know, rebuild things. Cause I think things were a little stagnant for her for a while. And then, so I just like, she kind of showed me like little bits and things there. And then I have a knack for business and like different things. And I actually legit took a test, and my top 3 skills is strategic is one of them. So it kind of makes sense why this worked out, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's called Clifton's 34. It's like a Gallup test.
Sure. Yeah.
It's awesome. Like, it's like, I think about it 24/7. We'll go on that note later.
Yes.
But, so it just kind of came naturally to me. And then like, I don't know, I just started like making social media connections, like business wise.
Right.
The girl, like I managed her for a while, I built her up, and then she kind of started doing her own thing. So we parted ways. And I had the company, like this was my company. I was like, okay, and I didn't quite know what to do with it, because I felt like at one point, just kind of doing all that stuff, it just kind of felt like all for aesthetics versus like depth.
Yeah.
And like things like that. So I decided to rebrand and relaunch and really put my voice about who I am as a person in it. Because before it's like, dude, I just planned on having like one. She was like my only client.
Yeah.
Like I didn't. Right. I just wanted to hang out with my kids and help someone out, and it wasn't even about like making money or anything like that. And then I decided like I kind of talked to Joe about. I was like, I want to do this like legit. Like I want to like have a logo, have a vision, a mission statement. And by then I actually had, we had Tom Seaberger, who did the Clifton's 34. By then I had already done that, but we had taken that for a personal level for Joe and I with our family to kind of run our family onto our strengths, using our strengths.
Oh, cool.
And so it just kind of naturally changed where he was helping us with that, and then helping me with my business. So between having Tom helped me, and of course Joe supporting me, and then me just kind of having all these like little random connections. June 1st of 2021 was the launch of Great Social Club, and it was like pure, it is my heart and soul, like who I am to a core.
Right.
In it. Like I wrote that damn elevator pitch about who I am like a million times, like trying to like make sure my voice was really clear. And so, yeah, like that is exactly what I'm about. Basically, it's like it's a club or a place where anyone is welcome. And even if I don't offer service like that, maybe you don't think I do, like I'm open for people asking me and me finding a way to connect them, you know? And so it's really cool. Like I really do believe in the universe or like God already having a path made for you. It just takes a while for everything to work out.
Right.
And so like I really feel like this is my journey to make an impact somehow in a positive way, to change the digital world, to make it a more positive place and kind of like lift up people's voices that are smaller. Because like, you know, just because you have a crap ton of followers doesn't mean that what you're producing or putting out there is like of value, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I want to do. I want to have people to have value. Like I tell everyone, actually it's funny, the Maxim thing I told you about.
Yeah.
Like when I didn't know who he was when I talked to him, by the way. This Maxim creator, the Maxim creator owner who created the company, that part of that company, that platform.
Yeah. Like
he asked me like what I do. And so I kind of said this.
Your elevator pitch, yeah.
And then I went, you know, I don't want to work with anyone if they don't have a giving back initiative. I don't care what kind of initiative, whether it is something, a message you're offering or actually something monetary offering, but you have to have a platform and a message to give back. Like you have to. It's really important. Otherwise, it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, okay, great. Well, by the way, here I am, you know, Nico, whatever, Nico of the Maxim Creator program platform. I co-created this, and I'm the owner or founder or whatever. And I'm like, oh man, okay. I thought you were a sales dude. Like, you know, like I thought you were gonna sell me something. So it was pretty cool, and it's kind of humbling to see people who, you know, I mean, I don't know him, but I'm assuming he's pretty accomplished, you know, for a company like that to entrust him with their platform and their brand, to see something in me, and just me being really open about who I was.
Yeah.
So that was like a big validation moment. So it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I know I totally went off on a tangent.
No, that was great. Well, and I wanted to hit on, I think, anyone that's a Sheridan native, you just hit on, like you said, that whole, like, when you get here, it's like either you vibe with it or, and one of the biggest things you just said about your company is you better be giving back in some way. Yeah. And I think that is one of the values here that like a lot of this area, you know, that's like, if you don't do that here, it's like, that's probably one of the things you're probably not going to fit in here. Cause like we are, anyways, that's just part of, like, I don't know. That just stuck out to me there.
It is.
Because, you know, a lot of people here that they, you know, they'll work and they'll grind, you know, and we talked about this last time. We don't like the word, you know, grind, you know, grinder or whatever. But anyways, that just popped out to me. And then I think like loyalty too was one of your big things is major things. Like for me, let's say I have a talent and they sign with me and they grow, right? They grow and they're like huge. I have no problem like helping them and having their back to find another agency that can handle that, you know, whatever their growth is, you know. But I always want their loyalty in the sense that, like, you know, they're always going to show like appreciation or continue to be who they are, right? Give back, like being loyal to who they are, loyal to the people that were there in the beginning. That's kind of how I operated in my whole life. Like most of my friends have been my friends for like 10, 15, I don't know, maybe in 20 years. Right.
And even out here, like the people that we've met that we're closest to, I mean, I would probably jump in front of a bullet for them, you know? So that to me is really important. And that is the crutch of one of my company. It's love, integrity, and grit. Like you keep working, right? You don't give up. you like go through the hard times and good times. That's life too, right?
Yes.
Like, I've heard someone told me something. What was the saying? I just heard this saying. It's really good. It's like, nothing's like easy in life. If it's easy, if nothing good comes easy, so like it better be difficult or something. Oh, shoot, man, that was a good saying.
That was good.
Or something
that
along
made
that
sense.
line. Yeah, like if it's not difficult, it wasn't worth doing. I guess
There
in
you
a
go.
way,
Yeah.
that's the best way to say
Yeah.
it. You know, that's the biggest reward at the end. So yeah, that's kind of how it is. And I haven't like really wavered off of my ethics and my morals. I granted I did in the beginning, not just ethics, morals, but just like kind of like a battle of morals, I guess, between one person's idea and my idea. And I didn't like it. And so I think that for me is why I really like needed to do that rebrand, new logo, new start, because I really just didn't want that energy with me.
Right.
Carry it with me, you know?
Sure.
So yeah, so that's
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, and let's talk about this. So you just got is it elected? Or nominated for the royalty board? How's that work?
So I don't know how exactly that works actually. So I've sponsored the girls for a couple of years now.
Okay.
On the rodeo royalty board. Gosh, you know, that's a tongue twister.
Yeah.
So I guess like this past year, they asked me if I'd be interested in joining the board because I've just been a really big advocate for them. I mean, those girls work hard. You know, people kind of give SHIT to...
You can say it.
Okay. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, like the rodeo queens or pageants and things like that.
Yeah.
But I think that the Sheridan-YO Rodeo Royalty is such a different type of program because it's a holistic program. I mean, if you think about it, right? It's mind, body with the horsemanship, and spirit, right? It's the Western spirit, right? These girls travel all over the state doing clinics, trying to find ways to raise money for themselves and all these different things. So I really admired that about them. I think that makes it a standout program in general than some other pageantry programs, even though the other ones are great. There's still some type of empowerment aspect in it, but there's something really beautiful about women, young women who are ready to get down and dirty in the stalls and you know, do work. And they work on ranches. They know what it takes to do that kind of stuff, you know? So I really admire that. And so anyway, so they asked me to be on board. So I'm in charge of their social media marketing deal there now. I've just got assigned that task.
Awesome.
Which I kind of already knew that I was going to be assigned that task. And, you know, we work under the umbrella of the Sheridan YO Rodeo, which is awesome. So then they've been super supportive of it and things like that. So yeah, I don't know. It's pretty cool. I'm pretty honored.
Yeah.
So
for, you know, you've been here 10 years, but I think that's I think I can say this as a Sheridan native. It's hard to break those cliques, and not to say like it's any cliquish, but you know, it's one of those long-standing traditions. So for you to be on, I think that's really cool. And they hopefully it's more of like, you know, they've seen your work and like that's why they want you on. But
well, man, that makes me feel good. You know what? Honestly, I think I'm on because they like me as a person.
Yes.
And
hopefully that's what I was trying to say. Is like it's not.
I mean, on my work, I know, but the funny thing is like I think the gals like they just like me. Everyone, everyone just. I think it's a person because I approached them when we went to the it was at Britain. They did the silent auction. I don't think was it the coronation? Maybe it was the coronation. I don't know. It was one of the fundraisers they had, and I was like listening to what the program was about, and I was like, "Oh, Joe, you know, maybe I can help them out with some of the makeup stuff. Like that's something I can offer." And he's like, "I don't know." I'm like, "Well, let me go ask," you know. And I was like, "Hi, like you know, like can I help you guys with some makeup?" And I don't think they realized how much makeup when I said that and the quality, you know, of it and stuff, because I carry really good stuff. So I put together like huge kits and like gave the girls like all the like basically at cost. Like if they needed like skincare stuff beyond the stuff that I already gifted them. So I kind of put everything pretty much almost at cost while they were in crowned at that time or whatever, whatever it's called. I'm not sure, but yeah, it was pretty cool. And I just built kind of relationships with them. And even now, the rodeo queen now, like I have a really like an affinity for her. She's like a sweet girl and a sweet young woman. Excuse me, she's not a girl. And yeah, I'm excited about it. And I'm just like, this is a good time. My kids can feed themselves and go to the bathroom by themselves. And things are good.
Yeah.
And it was a great time to do it. So
I want to dive deep into that, your intro. For anyone out there looking to start their business or they run a business, like what you just walked through this whole, like, I'm going to put myself out there, ask if they want help. And then you gifted them like, here's my stuff. Here's my brand. Yeah. And then I imagine you kind of gave them tips, and like you said with the skincare.
We had makeup clinics.
See? Yep.
It was in a horse clinic. It was a makeup clinic with Natalie. We did like lessons and everything. I set up a big table. We got snacks. I showed them how to do their makeup from start to finish. Yeah. And different type of looks and, all of it, the whole shebang.
That's probably why they like you. Because, I mean, it's just, you put yourself out there.
Yeah.
You did it. You did it your way of like, hey, I'm just here to whatever you guys need.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. Yeah, like whatever you need, and
that's awesome.
So yeah, and it was pretty cool when they asked me, like, oh my god, I was like, yeah, for sure. Like I was like, I'd be honored. Like I love the girls, and it's great because now I've learned so much more with Great Social Club. So it was a perfect time to ask me because now I can really contribute in a meaningful way. Yeah. Not just for the board, the rodeo royalty, but even like our community in a way, right? So it's kind of cool.
Especially this year because we missed the rodeo last year. That now it's like this one's gonna be huge. Yeah. So now it's for the marketing aspect. Like that's awesome.
Shayla is the rodeo royalty queen. Rodeo queen.
Gotcha.
Okay, so she is from the Northern Cheyenne tribe.
Right.
The second one since her grandma.
And they're the only two,
only
correct?
two from the tribe, yeah.
Yes.
And so this is a really big deal. And so I don't know, somewhere between just like the talent I sign and their connections and everyone's kind of.
Well, and you're part of the board as the marketing, so I mean this ties right into that.
But it didn't. This was even before this happened.
Oh, okay.
That was like
my timeline's all off.
Yeah,
okay.
it just happened to all happen.
Just fall into place.
Like weeks apart.
That's cool.
And so then I got, before even all this happened, I had already wanted to do something like this for Shayla. Like I have a mood board on Pinterest like 3 months ago, putting together like an imaginary like photo shoot for her.
Okay.
So this was already something that I had been manifesting, I guess, in my mind.
Yeah.
And her story. And so what happened was like, so I have a talent I signed. She's a freelance journalist.
Okay.
And I was like telling her about, Shayla and whatever. And she goes, I was like, maybe you can write about it. And like, I was like thinking like, well, just do something real low key, and just submit it to like, oh God. Yeah, like kind of share her story out to like a Western magazine or something like that, or a local magazine. I don't know. I don't really know. Okay, I didn't really have an idea. And then she was like, we kind of talked about it, and I'm like, it's a really beautiful story. She's like, dude, like let me go ask my friend if she's open to coming out here to help us, to collaborate. This is a collaboration. Keep in mind,
Yeah.
So then she introduces me to Jana, this German photographer in New York, who's just happens to be a published one. She just was published in Harper's Bazaar, and was like, like da-da-da. She's like, oh my God, I'd love to come to Wyoming or check out Wyoming. And I'm like, okay, and then I was like, and then I asked Joe, I'm like, hey, would Steger St. Clair like to sponsor their flights? Right here and whatever, and he's like, yeah, of course, this is for our community, right? This is, and then I pulled in, and then like we kind of put that part together, and then I got asked to be on the board, and then I told the board, I was already planning on telling the board about this because I work with them already,
yes,
as a sponsor,
yeah.
then I got on the board and I'm like, okay. And we had our first like board meeting and I was like, okay, so this is what's going on, guys. Like, and originally it was not like this, you know? And I'm like, so, okay, blah, blah. But somewhere between that time on Clubhouse, if Clubhouse hears me, you know, you guys can sponsor me. Just kidding. No, on Clubhouse, I met a like really awesome dude named Sonny. Sonny Bonaho, and he was an Asian hip hop artist back in like the 2000s and things like that. And then, and he's just kind of stayed in the scene for a long time, like behind the scenes, doing film, graphics, everything. He's like, I guess, I listened to this podcast about him called The Glow Up, I believe. And it was like, he's a jack of all trades. Like he can do everything when it comes to being a creative. Okay. And so we connected on Clubhouse. Actually, we didn't even connect on Clubhouse. I heard his story on Clubhouse. Gotcha. And I related to it really deeply because it is a story about, you know, families escaping from the war, coming to America, creating a new opportunity for themselves. He grew really deep into the hip hop culture, you know, like he lived in an all Black neighborhood and all this stuff. And so like he kind of missed that aspect of really bonding with other Asian people. And I'm the opposite, right? I came here and I was like immersed in my culture. I spoke Vietnamese before I spoke English. And it was like Asians and Latinos, like that's what I grew up around. Right. And so, but like it was still both a story of kind of like really humble roots. Like, you know, we started poor and built ourselves up, right? So I just really connected with him. So I DM'd him on Instagram, was like, hey, you know what? Like, just so you know, you have a sister friend and a Vietnamese one in Wyoming. Like, you know, like if anything I can help you with, like, let me know. Like you're like I really feel for you. Like it made me like, you know, it really touched my heart and it made me. You connected with him. Yeah. I really connected with him. And so I just said that. He's like, cool, awesome. Thank you so much. Like that means a lot. That's it. And then, and then I decided to buy so he has this like really cool, awesome, like kind of like streetwear, kind of cool, like hoodies and t-shirts and beanies and things like super cool. And we're doing that photo shoot and that his thing popped up and I hadn't, after that time, I hadn't ever like talked to him again. Right. And so I was like, man, you know what? Let me go represent an Asian brother, you know? And I'm going to order, I never buy, fancy things. Like I usually always buy local or small businesses or small designers just because I feel like I've been doing that for a while now. Sure. And so it's just important to me to do that. And so I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to treat myself, you know? And I have this cool photo shoot happening in July, you know, during the rodeo time with Jana and Aida. To do, you know, hopefully we're going to get published, right? Like this is like me hoping we're going to get published or whatever, and submit it out with these pretty photos. And I try to buy something. There's no sizes on his website, like, you know, and I find out later it's customized, you know, it's custom. So, so you kind of like have to like, email or whatever. And he like, I mean, everything he like does, it's all in-house, like what he does. And so then like I was like, oh, okay. And then we started talking. And then like, and I tell him like, yeah, da, da, da. And I don't know how, I think I'm from Wyoming and his like former alter ego or something was from Wyoming. Sure. And cowboy boots on stage and all this stuff. And we kind of just bonded, right? He's Laotian. And I was like, okay, you know, cool, you know, and I tell him about what I'm doing and why like I want his swag, like his look, right? Yep. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I was like, maybe I'll get you behind the scenes, like tag myself and like just show you that like I support you, you know, like I just really wanted you to know I support you. I was the second Asian person that's ever bought his stuff. Really? Yeah. Second Asian person. The other person was an American Korean guy. It was actually Cobra Kai, Kyler. Oh, okay. The actor. I don't know his name. Sure. was the other Asian person. And he did this like lavender one for him. And so I was
Interesting.
like, yeah. So it was like, I think it's like really memorable, right? Like, cause like he probably gets orders all the time, but you know, so I was like, oh, okay. I was like, he's like, oh my God, that's awesome. And we just like clicked.
Yep.
And I told him about this, what we were doing. He's like, you know, you guys should get this on film. And I'm like, huh? I was like, okay. And then he's like showing me what he does. He's like a film director. He does like music, like really cool music videos for like hip hop world.
Right.
And I think he's like just knows that whole marketing. Like, he's super smart.
Yeah.
Like, super smart.
Like you said, he's a jack of all trades. So he's kind of.
And he's so low key about it, right? Because like I didn't know anything about him. I mean, I had to Google him to find out. Like I didn't know all the things that he did. It was really through that podcast that I had to find.
Gotcha.
Because he's like a super quiet, like humble person. And I really like that. Like, I really respect that. And so then I'm like, he shows me some of his videos. I still, keep in mind, like, I kind of know who he is, but I kind of don't. Like, I kind of know, like, maybe he's somehow in the hip hop world. I don't quite know.
Right.
And, and I'm like, I don't know if I can afford you. Like, that's me. And then he's like, no. He's like, no. He's like, I want to do this. Like, he's like, you know, that story. And I want to say the story for when it actually gets public.
No, and that's fine. Yes.
So he's like, that story really resonated with me. It is so powerful, and the basis of it is about unity, right? All of us coming together, you know. And so I think for him, just like that connection to Wyoming and everything else, and kind of our story. And him and our stories mirroring each other, except for his is like on steroids, and mine's like the lower key version. It just kind of like made sense. And so yeah, he's coming out here. Steger Sinclair is gonna buy their tickets. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, he's coming out. We're gonna host him. It's kind of weird. Like, originally I just thought, okay, we're building our house. I'm like, okay, everyone's going to stay in our little carriage guest house, and my kids and I, it's going to be nice and tight. But now it's like, I seriously have an entire creative team coming out.
Right.
So, yeah, we got to get things in order. Get moving. And it's cool. And he's actually like really cool. So like, if you look up in some of the things that he's done is insane. It's so artistic. And so I don't know if I'm going to have like a music video version of what we're doing, or I'm just going to let him go with it.
That's awesome.
Share his vision. And he just moves by God. Like, that's his thing. Like, he moves through faith and through God, and kind of just, he's a really quiet guy. So it's kind of cool. And I'm like the Energized Bunny. Like, I talk really fast and all that stuff sometimes. So it's kind of weird. Like, I don't know how. But he feels like a brother. Like that's, like, we spoke on FaceTime for like an hour. Like, sometimes we work. Like, the last time I talked to him, he's working and I'm working, and we're on FaceTime, like, working.
Gotcha.
And talking.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
That's awesome.
And I feel like I guess the best way, like, I feel really like humbled that even like multiple times this has happened where I get these like amazing opportunities, and it's coming here to Sheridan.
Yes.
It's not even like, oh, I'm flying to New York, I'm flying to LA. They're coming here.
Yeah.
You know, and they're coming here doing our rodeo. And they're coming here because they're excited about us. Right? They're excited about who we are, about our rodeo, about our town, our community, about the kind of people we are. You know, obviously they had to like me, right, to even want to come out here.
Right.
So it's really awesome. I'm just like, part of me is still like kind of pinching myself. Like, is this really happening?
Yep.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
I know.
Well, we're excited to hear more from you when it comes. You know, we didn't want to give it away, but that's cool that you had it on your mind and kind of on your heart of like doing a story like that, and then it kind of just, in a couple of weeks, it all came together, and you're like, oh, like, we can do this.
And the thing is like, now I'm like, okay, well, now I have like a legit public figure behind the scenes documenting it. So I think when we submit it, I would hope that someone sees that beautiful story behind it, and this growth keeps pulling up, because like, I think we have a special community, a special place, and I can't think of a better time than reopening for rodeo and with everything going on in the world to kind of showcase like a feel good story.
Absolutely.
Right? So
that's great.
I know.
Let's keep diving into this kind of theme of like Sheridan. So you've got 2 kids, got 2 little ones. What is something that you guys are happy about being out here? You know, you guys love DC. You know, I don't want to take that away from DC, but you know, they're growing up and they're growing up fast. I think talk a little bit about, you know, the outdoors and like what you can do with the kids. And
we're actually going to Antelope Butte on the 26th. This is a cool thing. Like Bighorn School, they have like a family out day.
Yeah. So you guys are going next weekend?
Yeah, we're going to go. Yeah, we're all going to go. I'm going to try to hit the slopes again, or the magic carpet at the very least.
Is this your first time going?
No, we've been before. We've been before like a bunch of times, but usually it's Joe and Thomas because like Eleanor just wasn't having it. She was too little then.
Okay, but now she's
so now she's a little older and she's a little feistier. So we're all gonna go and we want to, now that there's like a bunch of fresh powder up, we want to. This year's our goal is try to go every week. So like aim high, you know.
Yep.
so we want to go every week. I mean, we love Joe's actually really good at skiing. Thomas loves skiing. I think Eleanor will like skiing. I loved snowboarding in high school. I just wasn't that good, but I was like down to fall. Like I wasn't afraid to fall, you know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, I don't know, maybe Eleanor and I will be snowboarders and Joe and Thomas will be the skiers.
Nice. That'll be cool.
I don't know. So we're going to do that. And we like doing that. We go hiking. We go up on our 4-wheelers or our side-by-side. We go up in the mountain. And we literally, sometimes, like, if we don't have time, we'll just ride up Bighorn real quick and have lunch.
Yep, go for a drive.
And and then get out, walk around, play in the dirt, and then ride back down. And that's like an adventure in itself, just doing that. So that's kind of like things we do. And then we have our house in the backyard. We have a little goose that runs through it. So we go fishing.
Yeah.
Oh, Joe and Thomas are doing the fishing derby. On the 27th, I think it is, right? So yeah, they're going to do that. They entered. I'm like, can I come? And Joe's like, well, it's like you actually like we're ice fishing or something or whatever. I was like, do they tailgate? You know? And I'm like, I've never been.
Right.
I've never been to that. I've watched it on the Sheridan Press or in the news or whatever.
Yeah.
But I've never been. So I'm like, how's that work? And then, so Joe's like, I guess you guys could go. I'm like, is it going to be cold? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, let me think about it. So, but yeah, that's going to be fun for them to do. And
I feel like you can tailgate anywhere in Wyoming. I feel like you don't have to ask.
Well, we do it at Polo, right?
Yeah.
Like you just sit on the grass and you bring your booze and you just hang out and watch. It's like it's the unbougiest polo ever. I love it. So, but yeah, so that's kind of, and that's what we do too. We watch polo. We go to polo games and it's fun. The kids are like running around.
Oh yeah.
You're having a picnic, eating snacks, visit all your friends. Like you walk down to the bathroom, like you see 50 other people saying hi, you know. So yeah, it's just things like that. And we do Donking Days.
Oh yeah. Rodeo will be back.
Week.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
That's
so
cool.
I think we might try golfing.
There you go.
This spring, summer.
Right.
I'm not a golfer.
Neither am I.
Joe is not really a golfer, but Thomas is like really interested in golfing. Like he's really he keeps watching it. He's kind of into it. It's like an introvert sport, right? Kinda.
Yeah.
And he's an introvert. So I think as a family, we're
golfing. Yeah.
And that's the thing. Everything we do is for our kids. Everything. And that's why I'm here. Especially after becoming a mom, dude, I don't want to live anywhere else. And, it's just, this is the best place to have a family. And there's still like a part of I was talking to a friend about it. Like after the pandemic and everything, it just put everything on speed drive and looking at perspective about life, right? Everyone wants to be rooted, you kind of want to come back and we're kind of like the great unknown. And it's because we're still in touch with Earth nature, you know, being human, being good to each other, being friendly neighbors. Like when I was pregnant with my son, our neighbors are like my kids' grandparents, like our old neighbors when we lived in town.
Right.
Grammy and Grampy. We call them Grammy and Grampy. And when I was pregnant, like they would bring food and leave it at the door, knit blankets. And like at first, people used to leave food at my door when I was pregnant. I didn't know who it was because they didn't write a note. And I'd be like, oh my God, someone's trying to poison me, you know, and like not eat it. And then later I find out it was who it was. I'm like, why don't you leave a note? And it was several of my neighbors.
Right.
And you know, as an Asian American living in a 99.99% white community, I like seriously, like, you know, like I hadn't socialized a lot. I was like, you know, you kind of like, when you're from a city, you're already paranoid about everything. So I was like, you know, kind of that. And like, it really, I've never experienced actually, to be honest with you, ever once, like kind of like racism or
discrimination.
Kind of that,
yeah.
Like sometimes it's a little bit of ignorance, but it's not, it's innocent. It's because they don't know any better. And even when you just kindly explain, people are like, oh my God, or like later on someone tells them and they're like mortified and they're calling you and apologizing. I'm like, dude, it's fine.
Yeah.
You know, I think we need to give each other a little grace on that stuff. That's a whole nother topic. One day I'll get into.
That was great. No, that, you know, my brother and I, because my mom's Korean, so I mean, and then she grew up in Buffalo, so I mean, she could speak on this too. But, you know, Isaac, my brother and I, we've never, I don't think from growing up here, same, like we've never experienced that. I can't speak for any other sort of race, and because we look a little, because you asked me the first time we met, because you know we don't look. But when I tell you I'm Korean, you're like, oh, I see it. But
you're hybrid.
Yeah, so we don't, you know, it's hard to tell. But yeah, we've never experienced that. But that's you hit it on the head. Kind of, they don't. It's an ignorance, and it's not that. Like you said, they kind of have to be educated, and then it's like, oh, like, and it's not, you know, they're not doing it in a mean way.
You give people a little grace, you know, like you know, people are raised in certain environments or different things. They don't like if a 90-year-old lady compliments me on my like how well I speak English, it's genuine. It's the most. It's a genuine, heartfelt, like she's trying to say something nice.
Yes.
And people need to fucking remember that shit. Sorry. Like
you're good. No.
It makes me that kind of stuff bothers me, you know, and there's room for like to just say, you know, just like, you know, and I think someone did that, like little grandma said that to me once, and I said, I was like, thank you so much. You know, my family came to this country. I was born here. So, you know, I've been practicing, making sure I speak English, and I smiled, you know, and she started laughing, and she's like, you know, and she realized it, you know what I mean? And it was so lighthearted and it was great. And she's like, and I helped her with her groceries and put them in her car, and that was it. Like, God, like, just freaking be nice. I wish people would just be nice to each other.
I was going to say, you probably can't have that interaction in a city.
No, and it's here. This is why I love it here.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want my kids to grow up being a-holes, and I feel like being in Sheridan, they're going to grow up being really good people. You know, and they're small towns. We got our own drama, and you know,
oh yeah, sure.
But it's
like anywhere else.
Yeah, but nothing beats it here. And I know my kids are going to grow up knowing how to work hard, appreciate hard work, have grit. You know, keep their word, have their honor, be loyal to their friends, be good to people. That to me is like what Wyoming, what Sheridan, what we're all about, right? The cowboy way is almost it falls in hand, honestly, with like the old school kind of like Asian mentality, and even like kind of like in the hood too. Like you think about it, it's like this, we got each other's back as a community, you know? And so, like I think it really comes down to like the core of any community is those things. And
love
like,
it.
That's what I feel like we're all about here.
Yeah.
So,
and that's like you said, that's why if you don't vibe with it, then, you know, you're not going to fit in. But if you like it, you guys have taken and run with it, so I love it. That's cool.
It's been good to us. I mean, everything's happened. Like we don't even. I can't even like. I mean, if people ask me like, how did you do it? I would honestly say like, the community and the universe, God gave it to us. Like we worked for it, but I mean, it was really, we belong here, and I think the community made sure that we stayed in a way, right?
Love it.
So yeah.
Nice.
Thanks.
Charlie, you have anything to add there?
No.
I think I don't have any other questions if there's anything you want to say, Natalie, but I'll kind of spill on for a second. Maybe you can think about something if you want to say something. But if there's anything else you want to say, like where people can find Great Social Club, find you personally, any events coming up for the rodeo. I'm trying to think, that'll all start coming out here soon. For the summer and all that stuff. But where can people find your stuff? How can people reach out to you at Great Social Club?
Yeah. So my website's www.greatsocialclub.com. You can find me on Instagram, Great Social Club. My personal IG is Natalie T. Steger, Steger. Just reach out to me. Like, we do PR, we do talent management. I lean on to actually other people that like our we work as a collective. So I have a gal that several people that does like branding and website design, and they're their own entity, and I lean onto them, and they're just kind of working. We're all working together. Yeah. So I lean on to people that know what they're doing to help find solutions, and I found that I'm good at building bridges. And even if there's something that you don't know, or you're curious about, or you just just shoot me up, be like, hey, you know what? Like, I kind of want to clean up my feed, and I want to do it myself because I want to save money. Like, I will always drop you a couple tips and be like, here you go, and then refer you to someone later if you want to go for it. Yeah. I don't know. There's no skin in the game for me. There's no ego here. So I just frigging send me an email, DM, whatever. Ask me a question. Give me some time to get back to you because we're small and mighty. Yeah. But I think that's about it. And keep an eye out for the rodeo this coming summer. I think the world's things are colliding here in Sheridan, and it's a good thing, right? Yeah. Like we got the rodeo coming on. We got our Western thing, our Native American thing. We got hip hop coming in here. I guess Kanye's already in Wyoming. Yep. So no, it's just so good. And it's we got the Asian community up here and people coming together because they care about each other, right? And they care about things. So I don't know, just keep an eye out about everything and keep your eyes glued. I think we're gonna have some awesome stuff coming up this summer. Yeah. So. And I don't even know what else is going to happen next time I'm on Clubhouse. Who knows? Yeah. Might find a TED Talker and pull him up here. I don't know. It's awesome. Crazy. Dude, you guys, if you're not on Clubhouse, and this is I'm not affiliated with Clubhouse, you guys need to hop on. It's just, I love listening, and I get so much information and inspiration from there. So it's pretty cool. BYO needs their own room.
You got it. I don't know. Charlie can get on that.
Send the invite.
I did.
To the Go BYO.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Natalie, for coming back into the studio.
Thank you.
Make sure you guys go follow her stuff, and then we'll definitely have you on again because I know anyways, we got a lot going on, so we'll have you on again. I'm
going to pull my mom in. We'll do a cooking segment.
Ooh, I would love that.
She already got her shot, so she needs one more, and she's down to travel again.
Yes.
So.
We'll host that. I'm down for some Asian food.
So,
yeah. Go to Verdello and use the kitchen.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Bam. That was a plug. There we go. To Verdello there. But yeah, thanks for coming back, Natalie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.